Welcome back to the channel USA Coins 69, where we explore the amazing world of rare and valuable coins from the United States and beyond. Today, we're diving deep into one of America's most beloved and historic coins, the Jefferson nickel, specifically the fascinating 1975 5-cent coin. You might think of the Jefferson nickel as just another everyday coin, but what if I told you that some of these coins could be worth tens of thousands of dollars? Yes, that's right. Hidden in plain sight, this small 5-cent piece could turn out to be a treasure worth far more than its face value. So make sure you stay tuned till the end of this video because we're going to reveal how and why one of these rare 1975 Jefferson nickels could fetch a stunning $70,000 today. Let's start by taking a closer look at the background of the Jefferson nickel. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel that had been in circulation for 25 years. Designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, the coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Jefferson's face on the obverse side of the coin symbolizes leadership, intellect, and the vision that shaped America's early identity. Over the decades, this 5-cent piece has become one of the most recognizable and enduring coins in U.S. history. By the time 1975 came around, the Jefferson nickel had already been in production for nearly 4 decades. America was going through a fascinating time in history. The Vietnam War had just ended, technology was advancing rapidly, and coin collecting was gaining huge popularity across the country. Millions of these coins were struck at U.S. mints in Philadelphia and Denver, and they were used daily in homes, stores, and schools across America. But what many people don't realize is that not all Jefferson nickels are the same. Some special variations, mint errors, and extremely high-grade versions can be worth small fortunes today. Now, let's talk about the design details that make this coin such a classic. On the front side of the 1975 Jefferson nickel, we have the timeless left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, with the word Liberty and the year 1975 engraved beautifully beside him. Above his head, you can see the familiar phrase, "In God We Trust." Every curve of the portrait was carefully sculpted to show Jefferson's calm and determined character, a look that truly captures his importance in American history. On the reverse side of the coin, there's an image of Jefferson's Virginia home, Monticello, which he designed himself. The word Monticello appears below the building, along with E Pluribus Unum and United States of America. The detail in this design makes the Jefferson nickel a work of art in miniature form. While these coins were produced in huge numbers, the real magic lies in the details, the mint mark, the condition, and the quality of the strike. The 1975 Jefferson nickel does not exist with an official proof strike labeled for collectors that year because the mint was preparing to issue the bicentennial designs in 1976. However, this also means that certain 1975 coins have fascinating anomalies that make them stand out from the rest. Some coins have unusual die errors, such as double strikes, off-center minting, and misaligned designs. Others were struck on the wrong planchets, meaning they were accidentally minted on a metal blank meant for a different denomination. These rare mistakes are incredibly sought after by collectors and can push the value of a single coin into the thousands. One of the biggest factors that affects a Jefferson nickel's value is its condition. A coin in circulation will naturally lose detail due to wear, but a coin that has never been used, known as an uncirculated or mint state coin, can command much higher prices. If your 1975 Jefferson nickel still has its original shine, no visible scratches, and sharp details, it's worth taking it to a coin grading service. Coins graded at the highest levels, such as MS 66 or higher, can be extremely valuable. Even the tiniest difference in condition can mean the difference between a few dollars and a life-changing amount. Collectors also look for unique toning, that beautiful rainbow-like color that sometimes forms naturally on older coins due to oxidation. A 1975 Jefferson nickel with vibrant toning, perfect luster, and crisp strike marks can turn heads in any auction. Combine that with a rare mint error or a perfect grade, and you've got a collector's dream coin. Another interesting aspect about the Jefferson nickel series is that it has a dedicated following among numismatists, coin experts who specialize in studying and collecting coins. For decades, the Jefferson nickel has been part of the 5-cent fascination, a niche where collectors aim to gather complete sets from every year and every mint mark. Completing a full high-grade Jefferson nickel collection can be extremely challenging, which is why coins from certain years, like 1975, have seen a steady rise in value. Now let's dive a little deeper into why some 1975 Jefferson nickels are worth so much more than others. The key reason comes down to rarity and preservation. While millions were minted, very few have survived in flawless, mint-state condition after nearly 50 years. On top of that, there are known examples of coins with unique features, such as die cracks running across Jefferson's face, doubling in the date or lettering, or faint traces of missing design details. These rare traits can dramatically boost collector interest. Coin enthusiasts are always hunting for examples that stand out, and when such coins appear in major auctions, the bidding can skyrocket. The market for U.S. coins has also been thriving in recent years. As more people become interested in coin collecting, the demand for older, high-quality pieces has surged. Online platforms and auction houses have reported record-breaking prices for coins that might have once gone unnoticed. A 1975 Jefferson nickel in top condition, with strong eye appeal and possibly an error, has become one of those coins that collectors are willing to pay premium prices for. Imagine finding one of these hidden treasures in your change jar or an old family coin collection. That small piece of metal you've been overlooking could hold a secret value you never expected. Many people don't realize that the coins they handle daily might be worth far more than their face value. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting: the thrill of discovery, the connection to history, and the chance that your everyday coin could be a rare gem. So, what's the potential value of the 1975 Jefferson nickel today? While regular circulated examples might only be worth a few cents, the story changes completely when you talk about rare mint errors and uncirculated specimens. Coins graded at the highest levels, showing mirror-like surfaces and sharp details, can fetch prices you wouldn't believe. In some cases, collectors have paid as much as $70,000 for the rarest and most flawless examples of the 1975 Jefferson nickel. That's right, $70,000 for a single 5-cent coin. It's incredible to think that something so small, so ordinary, could carry such extraordinary value. So if you have any old Jefferson nickels lying around, especially from 1975, it might be time to take a closer look. Examine every detail, check for unusual features, and consider getting it professionally graded. You never know, your spare change could be worth a small fortune. Today, we're going to uncover the fascinating story behind one of America's most iconic and beloved coins, the United States Jefferson nickel, specifically the 1964 5-cent coin. Now, you might think of the 1964 Jefferson nickel as just another old coin from your spare change, but what if I told you that some rare versions of this coin are worth a life-changing amount of money? Yes, you heard that right. This small 5-cent piece, if it has the right features, could be worth far more than you can imagine. Stay tuned until the end of this video, because you'll be amazed when we reveal how one of these nickels sold for an incredible $130,000. Let's take a journey back in time to the year 1964. The world was changing fast. It was the height of the space race, the Beatles had taken over the radio, and the United States Mint was producing millions of coins to meet the growing demand for everyday currency. Among these coins was the Jefferson nickel, a coin that had already become a true American classic since its introduction in 1938. Designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel was created to honor Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers and the third President of the United States. Over the years, it became one of the most recognizable coins in circulation, used daily by millions of Americans, but 1964 was no ordinary year for the Jefferson nickel. This was the last year the coin featured its traditional silver-colored composition before major changes took place in U.S. coinage. The U.S. Mint was under intense pressure because of a nationwide coin shortage that had started in the early 1960s. The shortage was partly caused by collectors hoarding coins, especially silver ones, due to rising metal prices. To combat this, the Mint increased production dramatically in 1964, striking more than 2 billion Jefferson nickels, one of the largest mintages in U.S. history. However, even though so many were made, not all 1964 nickels are equal. Some have hidden features and minting errors that make them extremely valuable and highly sought after by collectors. Now, let's talk about the design of this beautiful coin. On the obverse side, you'll find the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, sculpted in stunning detail. His dignified profile captures the thoughtful and visionary spirit of one of America's greatest leaders. To the left of Jefferson's portrait, you'll see the words, "In God We Trust," and to the right, the word "Liberty," followed by the date 1964. On some coins, right next to the date, there's a small letter, a mint mark, which can be either a D for the Denver Mint or left blank for the Philadelphia Mint. That tiny letter can make a huge difference when it comes to determining the coin's rarity and value. On the reverse side of the coin, we see Jefferson's beloved home, Monticello, a neoclassical masterpiece that he designed himself. The intricate columns, dome, and stairs are beautifully detailed, making this one of the most elegant reverse designs in American coinage. Above the building, the Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, appears, which means, out of many, one, symbolizing the unity of the American people. Below Monticello, you'll find the word Monticello, and beneath it, 5 cents, and United States of America. The timeless design of the Jefferson nickel is one reason collectors continue to admire it more than 8 decades after it was first introduced. So, what makes the 1964 Jefferson nickel stand out from other years? The answer lies in a combination of factors: minting errors, special varieties, and pristine condition. During the massive production run of 1964, the U.S. Mint made several striking mistakes, and those errors are now worth big money. For example, some 1964 Jefferson nickels were struck with what's known as a full steps designation. This means the steps of Monticello on the reverse are perfectly struck and clearly visible, without any flattening or merging. Coins with full, sharp steps are incredibly rare because most nickels were weakly struck due to worn dies and rushed production. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS and NGC place enormous value on coins with full steps because they represent the finest examples of minting craftsmanship. A 1964 Jefferson nickel with full steps in mint state condition can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and that's before we even talk about the rare errors. Another reason some 1964 Jefferson nickels are worth so much is due to minting anomalies. There are known examples of double dies, where the design was accidentally struck twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the date, lettering, or even Jefferson's portrait. There are also off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin was not properly aligned during minting. In addition, some nickels were struck on the wrong metal planchet, a rare and highly collectible error. Each of these variations adds rarity and drives collector demand to incredible levels. Condition is another major factor that determines value. Most 1964 nickels were heavily circulated, meaning they picked up scratches, wear, and dull surfaces from everyday use. But if you find a coin that has been carefully preserved, one with its original shine, strong details, and no signs of wear, it could be a real treasure. Coins graded as MS-66 or higher by professional grading companies are extremely rare and can sell for astonishing prices. Now, let's talk about the historical significance that makes the 1964 issue even more special. In that year, because of the coin shortage, the U.S. Mint actually continued striking 1964 dated nickels well into 1965. This means there are minor variations in strike quality, die characteristics, and even metal composition. Some of the Denver Mint coins from this period show remarkable clarity, and a few of these have become legendary among collectors for their incredible detail and preservation. When collectors talk about the most valuable Jefferson nickels ever found, the 1964 full steps varieties always make the list. They've become a symbol of precision and rarity in the world of U.S. coinage. Even within the Jefferson nickel series, the 1964 issues stand out as one of the most complex and intriguing coins due to the massive production numbers and the hidden gems scattered among them. In today's market, interest in Jefferson nickels has surged as collectors search for rare varieties and high-grade examples. Online auctions, numismatic shows, and private sales have all reported rising prices for the finest specimens. The beauty of collecting coins like the 1964 Jefferson nickel is that they bridge the gap between history, artistry, and investment. Holding one of these coins is like holding a piece of American history, something that has traveled through time and carries stories of an era that shaped modern America. Imagine finding one of these coins in a family coin jar or an old collection handed down from your grandparents. You might think it's just worth 5 cents, but with the right details, it could be worth a fortune. This is what makes coin collecting such an exciting journey. Every coin has the potential to surprise you. Now for the part you've been waiting for, the value revelation. Among all the Jefferson nickels ever minted, some of the rarest 1964 specimens have shocked the coin world with their auction prices. In pristine, uncirculated condition with perfect full steps and remarkable luster, certain examples have sold for absolutely staggering amounts of money. In fact, one such 1964 Jefferson nickel has been valued at an incredible $130,000, yes, that's right, $130,000 for a single 5-cent coin. It's almost unbelievable to think that something so small, something that may have once been used to buy a piece of candy or a newspaper, could be worth that much today. So if you have any old nickels from the 1960s sitting around, especially from 1964, take a moment to look closely at them. Check for full steps, mint marks, or any signs of minting errors. You never know what hidden treasure you might be holding. Today, we're going to explore one of the most interesting and often overlooked coins in U.S. history, the 1985 Jefferson nickel, the 5-cent coin that hides incredible secrets and shocking value. You might think that coins from the 1980s aren't really worth much yet, but what if I told you that some 1985 Jefferson nickels have sold for jaw-dropping amounts? Stay tuned until the very end, because we'll reveal how a small 5-cent coin from 1985 could be worth an unbelievable $58,000 today. Let's start by taking a step back in time to the year 1985, a period filled with change and excitement in America. The music was loud, the fashion was bold, and the country was entering a new technological era. But behind the scenes at the United States Mint, everyday coins were being produced that would one day become hidden treasures for collectors. Among them was the 1985 Jefferson nickel, a coin that at first glance seems ordinary but carries a surprising story of minting quality, design precision, and collector intrigue. The Jefferson nickel has a long and proud history that began in 1938, when it replaced the Buffalo nickel. It was designed by Felix Schlag, a talented sculptor who won the design competition with his elegant depiction of President Thomas Jefferson on the front and Jefferson's historic home, Monticello, on the back. For decades, this coin has represented American history, architecture, and art, all wrapped in a small 5-cent piece. By 1985, the design had already become a familiar sight to millions of Americans, yet few realized that even these later issues could become valuable collector's items. Let's talk about the design details of the 1985 Jefferson nickel. On the obverse side, you'll find the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, calm, confident, and dignified. Around his image are the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1985. Just next to the date, you'll often see a small letter, either a P for the Philadelphia Mint or a D for the Denver Mint. That tiny mint mark plays a huge role in determining the coin's rarity and potential value. On the reverse side, we see Monticello, Jefferson's magnificent Virginia home. The detail on this side is simply beautiful, from the delicate lines of the dome to the steps leading up to the building. Above Monticello, the phrase, E pluribus unum, appears, and below it, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. Now, here's where the story gets really interesting. Even though millions of Jefferson nickels were minted in 1985, not all of them were struck perfectly. Some coins came out of the mint with special characteristics or rare errors that make them far more valuable than others. These variations, from die cracks to doubled designs, are what excite coin collectors around the world. During the mid-1980s, the mint was producing coins at a very high rate, and that often led to small inconsistencies that went unnoticed by the general public. But to trained collectors, those inconsistencies are pure gold. One of the most sought-after traits for any Jefferson nickel, including the 1985 issue, is what's known as the full steps designation. This refers to the steps on Monticello on the back of the coin. On most nickels, the steps are worn down or not fully struck because of pressure inconsistencies during minting. However, if you find a coin where the steps are sharp, clear, and complete, showing every line with precision, you've got something special. Collectors call these coins full steps nickels, and they can command prices many times higher than regular strikes. The challenge is that finding a 1985 Jefferson nickel with full steps in perfect condition is extremely rare. Most coins from that year circulated heavily, meaning they show scratches, dull luster, or signs of wear. But if you happen to have a coin that's never been used, one that's been carefully preserved since 1985, its value skyrockets. High-grade coins, especially those certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can sell for thousands. The higher the grade, the rarer the coin, and the greater the value, but it doesn't stop there. There are also known examples of 1985 Jefferson nickels with minting errors that make them even more valuable. Some have double dies, where parts of the lettering or Jefferson's portrait appear slightly doubled because of a misalignment during the minting process. Others are off-center strikes, where the design is noticeably shifted from the center of the coin. And in some incredibly rare cases, coins have been discovered that were struck on the wrong type of metal planchet, meaning they were accidentally minted on blanks meant for other denominations. These mistakes are so rare that they can push the value of the coin to staggering levels. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate the historical context of this coin. By 1985, Jefferson nickels had already been circulating for nearly 50 years, and yet they remained one of the most dependable and widely used coins in America. They were found in every pocket, purse, and cash register. But even after decades of circulation, this simple 5-cent piece continued to be a symbol of American craftsmanship and history. Many people don't realize that modern coins like the 1985 Jefferson nickel can hold incredible value, especially in mint condition or with unique characteristics. So, what should you be looking for if you think you might have a valuable 1985 Jefferson nickel? First, check the mint mark. Coins from certain mints, like Denver, may have slightly better strike quality than others. Second, look closely at the steps on Monticello. If you can count all the steps clearly, you may have a full steps variety. Third, inspect the coin carefully under good lighting. Any signs of doubling, die cracks, or off-center designs could mean you're holding something special. And finally, check the condition. A coin with bright luster, sharp details, and minimal wear can fetch an astonishing price if professionally graded. Collectors around the world have started paying more attention to Jefferson nickels from the 1980s in recent years. What used to be seen as too modern to be valuable is now becoming highly collectible as older, high-grade coins become harder to find. Auction records show that some of these coins, especially the rare error or full steps varieties, have sold for thousands upon thousands of dollars. It's also worth noting that the 1985 Jefferson nickel is an interesting part of American coinage history because it bridges two eras, the classic mid-century designs and the modern minting techniques that would soon take over. This makes it a favorite for both traditional and modern collectors. The nostalgia of holding a coin from the 1980s combined with the thrill of potential value gives it a special place in the hearts of coin enthusiasts. Imagine stumbling upon a 1985 nickel in your old collection or even in your pocket change and realizing it could be worth more than your car. That's the kind of surprise that makes coin collecting such an incredible hobby. Every coin tells a story, where it's been, who used it, and how it survived through time. And sometimes, that story ends with a coin being worth far more than anyone ever imagined. So now, the question everyone's been waiting for: how much can the rarest 1985 Jefferson nickel actually be worth? While most examples are worth only a few cents, a coin in pristine, uncirculated condition with the full steps designation or a rare mint error can sell for an unbelievable amount. In fact, one of the finest examples ever discovered, perfectly preserved, with sharp details and flawless steps, has been valued by collectors and auction houses at an incredible $58,000. Yes, that's right, $58,000 for a single 5-cent coin. Just imagine that. Something so ordinary, so familiar, could turn out to be worth more than a brand new luxury car. So if you have any Jefferson nickels from the 1980s lying around, it's time to take a closer look. Examine every detail, check for those steps, and don't overlook what might seem like just another old coin. You never know, the next great treasure could be hiding right in your own pocket. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of United States nickels, and not just any nickel. We're talking about the 1979 Jefferson nickel, a small yet historic 5-cent coin that's taking the numismatic world by storm. This coin may look ordinary at first glance, but its story, rarity, and hidden secrets make it one of the most talked about nickels among collectors. So stay tuned till the very end, because you'll be shocked to know how much this humble coin could actually be worth today. Let's rewind the clock to 1979, a time when the US was going through major economic and cultural changes. Inflation was rising, gas prices were high, and people were tightening their wallets. Yet, in the midst of all that, the US Mint was busy producing coins that would eventually become treasures of American history. The Jefferson nickel from 1979 represents a fascinating blend of art, heritage, and hidden potential value. It was minted in 3 locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and each mintmark tells its own story. These coins were designed not just to circulate but to honor one of America's most respected founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson. Now, what makes the Jefferson nickel design so enduring? It's the perfect combination of symbolism and history. On the obverse side, we see the iconic profile of Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd President of the United States, whose leadership and vision helped shape the nation. The word liberty curves along the edge of the coin, a reminder of the American spirit. Jefferson's thoughtful expression captures his legacy of intelligence, curiosity, and determination. The date, 1979, stands proudly on the right side, representing a moment frozen in time, an era when coins were still crafted with precision and care. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the instantly recognizable image of Monticello, Jefferson's beautiful Virginia home. This isn't just a building, it's a national symbol of freedom, innovation, and architectural genius. The detail on the 1979 nickel's reverse side, when viewed under magnification, reveals how much effort went into its creation. From the stairs to the dome, every line and curve was etched with pride. The inscriptions, E pluribus unum, Monticello, and 5 cents, remind collectors of the strong identity and craftsmanship behind every U.S. coin. But here's where things start to get interesting. Not all 1979 Jefferson nickels are created equal. While millions were produced, only a few survived the decades in perfect condition. Most circulated coins were tossed in jars, spent on candy or coffee, or lost over time. But a rare few, those preserved in pristine, uncirculated, or proof condition, have turned into valuable collector's items. The difference between a common nickel and a valuable one can come down to tiny details. The strike quality, luster, mintmark, and even minute minting errors invisible to the casual eye. Error coins, in particular, are the real gems of the 1979 Jefferson nickel series. Some coins feature double strikes, off-center designs, die cracks, or even full-step Monticello details, a feature highly prized by collectors. The term full steps refers to the visible steps on Monticello's base, and coins that show all 6 steps sharply defined are exceptionally rare. These nickels were struck with extra precision, and because of that, their value skyrockets. A full steps 1979 Jefferson nickel can bring thousands more than a regular one in the same condition. The mint location also matters. The Philadelphia mint coins, with no mintmark, are generally more common, while the Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, mint versions, especially the proof coins from San Francisco, hold special appeal. The S mint proof nickels were made specifically for collectors and were never intended for general circulation. These proof coins often have a mirror-like finish and exhibit exquisite details. If you happen to come across one of these in perfect shape, you might be holding something far more valuable than its face value suggests. Now, imagine you've just discovered a 1979 Jefferson nickel in your collection or pocket change. The first thing to do is examine it closely. Look for mint marks, shine, and any unusual details. Does it have a sharp strike? Are there visible die marks or doubling? Is it possibly a full steps variety? Every small characteristic could make the difference between a simple 5-cent coin and a collector's dream piece. Collectors around the world are increasingly turning their attention to coins from the late 20th century, realizing that even coins from the 1970s and 1980s can hold incredible value if preserved perfectly. The 1979 Jefferson nickel, in particular, has gained attention for its rising prices at coin auctions. Some specimens have sold for thousands due to exceptional minting quality or unique variations. What's also fascinating about the Jefferson nickel is its connection to American history. It has been in circulation since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and over the years, it's witnessed wars, technological revolutions, and societal transformations. The 1979 version is part of that long lineage, a bridge between the past and modern coinage. Holding one feels like holding a piece of living history, a small but powerful reminder of how art, economy, and heritage come together in a single piece of metal. Now, let's talk about the most exciting part, the value. The price of the 1979 Jefferson nickel depends on many factors: rarity, condition, and the presence of errors. Common circulated examples might just be worth face value. But pristine, uncirculated, or error versions? That's a whole different story. Coins graded by professionals, especially those with full steps detail or minting errors, can fetch astonishing amounts from serious collectors. After careful examination and auction results, experts have noted that one of the rarest and most perfect examples of the 1979 Jefferson nickel, flawless in mint state, showcasing full steps and striking precision, was sold for an incredible $68,000. That's right, $68,000 for a single nickel. Can you imagine that? A 5-cent coin, once spent on a candy bar or soda decades ago, now valued higher than many people's cars or even college tuition. So, if you've got a jar of old coins at home, it's time to dig through it carefully. Who knows, you might be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. The 1979 Jefferson nickel proves that treasures don't always come in gold or silver. Sometimes, they're hidden in plain sight, resting in your change, quietly waiting for someone with a keen eye to recognize their worth. So take a moment, check your coins, and share this story with your friends and fellow collectors, because you never know whose pocket might hold the next rare Jefferson nickel worth thousands. Today, we're diving into one of America's most iconic and enduring coins, the Jefferson nickel, specifically the 1972 5-cent piece. You might think of it as an ordinary coin you see every day, but trust me, by the time you finish this video, you'll see the 1972 Jefferson nickel in a completely new light. Because hidden among the millions produced that year are some that could be worth a small fortune. So stay tuned till the very end, because I'll be revealing the unbelievable value of one special 1972 Jefferson nickel that shocked collectors across the country. Let's take a step back in time to 1972, a year that marked change and transformation in the United States. The nation was evolving rapidly, technology was advancing, and the culture was shifting. Amidst all of this, the U.S. Mint continued producing coins that carried the nation's heritage and history in every detail. One of those coins was the Jefferson nickel, a timeless piece that's been in circulation since 1938, replacing the famous Buffalo nickel. Now, the design of the Jefferson nickel is one of the most recognizable in American coinage. The obverse side, designed by Felix Schlag, features a detailed profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, a founding father, and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. His face on the coin is not just a portrait, it's a symbol of intelligence, leadership, and vision. The word liberty appears elegantly to the left, and the year 1972 is engraved to the right, marking the coin's place in history. And of course, the iconic phrase, "In God We Trust," reminds us of the enduring American spirit. Turn the coin over, and you'll find one of the most beautifully crafted designs in U.S. currency, Monticello, Jefferson's beloved Virginia home. The architectural precision in the design captures the neoclassical beauty of the real building, from its tall dome to its symmetrical columns. It's not just a house, it's a piece of American history, etched forever in metal. The reverse side also includes the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, along with Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. Every element represents pride, unity, and craftsmanship, qualities that have made the Jefferson nickel a collector's favorite for decades. But let's talk about what really gets collectors excited: rarity and condition. In 1972, the U.S. Mint produced Jefferson nickels in large numbers, from 3 main locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with AD, and San Francisco, marked with an S for proof coins. Millions rolled off the minting presses, but as time passed, most of them entered circulation, collecting scratches, dents, and signs of wear. Those are the nickels we usually find in our pockets, old jars, or inherited coin collections. However, not all 1972 Jefferson nickels are the same. Among those millions, a few extraordinary coins stand out, coins that were struck with near-perfect precision, preserved in flawless condition, or born with rare minting errors. These are the hidden treasures collectors dream of finding. Let's talk about the minting errors first, because that's where the real excitement lies. Error coins are like little accidents of history, rare, unique, and highly valuable. Some 1972 nickels show double dies, meaning parts of the design, like Jefferson's I, the word liberty, or the date, appear slightly double due to a misalignment during the minting process. Others may have off-center strikes, missing elements, or die cracks that give the coin a one-of-a-kind appearance. These tiny imperfections, invisible to the untrained eye, can turn a regular 5-cent coin into a prized possession worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Then we have the holy grail for nickel collectors, the full steps variety. On the reverse side of the Jefferson nickel, look closely at the steps at the base of Monticello. Most circulated coins have worn-out steps that blend together. But if you can find a 1972 nickel where all 6 steps are fully visible and sharply defined, that's what collectors call a full steps Jefferson nickel. These are incredibly rare because it requires a perfectly executed strike and minimal wear. Coins with full steps details are the most sought-after versions and can sell for astonishing amounts at auctions. The 1972 Jefferson nickel's value also depends heavily on which mint it came from. Coins from Philadelphia generally have no mint mark and are the most common. The Denver D mint coins are a bit rarer in high grades, especially those with full steps. And then there are the proof coins from the San Francisco Mint, beautifully struck pieces made specifically for collectors. These coins have mirror-like surfaces and crisp details, and if kept in pristine condition, they can be worth much more than regular circulation coins. Collectors also look at the coin's grade, the condition it's in, which is measured on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. Coins graded between MS 65 and MS 70, that's mint state 65 to mint state 70, are considered investment quality. The closer a coin is to perfection, no scratches, strong luster, and sharp detail, the higher its market value. Combine that with an error or full steps variety, and you have a treasure in your hands. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate what makes the Jefferson nickel series so special. It's one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, continuously minted since 1938. Over those decades, it's witnessed countless historical moments: wars, technological revolutions, political shifts, and cultural milestones. The 1972 issue stands out because it captures an era when America was modernizing rapidly yet holding on to its traditional symbols. Every coin minted that year carries a story of craftsmanship, history, and enduring value. And here's something many people don't realize: coins from the 1970s are becoming increasingly popular among new collectors. As older coins from the early 20th century become harder to find, attention has turned to mid-century and modern-era coins. The Jefferson nickel from 1972 is a prime example of this trend. A coin once thought to be ordinary is now gaining recognition as a hidden gem, especially in perfect condition. Imagine walking into a coin shop or going through your old change jar and spotting a bright, sharp 1972 Jefferson nickel. At first, it seems like any other coin, but then you notice its shine, its sharp details, maybe even those full steps under Monticello. You do a little research, maybe have it appraised, and suddenly, you realize you're holding something far more valuable than 5 cents, and now for the part you've all been waiting for, the incredible value. After decades of being overlooked, a perfectly preserved, mint state 1972 Jefferson nickel with full steps details and flawless condition recently stunned the collecting community when it sold for an astonishing $77,000. Yes, you heard that right, $77,000 for a single Jefferson nickel. A 5-cent coin that once jingled in someone's pocket decades ago could now buy you a luxury car or even a down payment on a house. That's the magic of coin collecting, turning something small, simple, and everyday into a piece of history and treasure. So, if you have a handful of old nickels tucked away somewhere, it's time to take a closer look. You might just find one of these rare 1972 beauties hiding in plain sight. Examine the details, check for mint marks, and look closely at the steps of Monticello, because you never know what secrets your coins might be keeping. Thank you so much for joining me on this fascinating journey into the world of rare Jefferson nickels. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to learn more about valuable US coins that could be sitting in your pocket right now, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss our next discovery. Every coin has a story, and every collector has a dream, so keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, maybe the next lucky find could be yours.